And we're live with another episode of BS Busters. And here we are, folks. I'm joined by Jewel Rider Moonstar. Is there anything that you wanna tell our viewers?
Basically, I got one thing to say, at least keeping on topic with this. There's so few kart racing games, and we got so much possibility space out there. How come Mario's the only one that has the crown?
That's a good point. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know during the sixth and fifth gen there were kart racers or kart racing style games for everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there was Crash, there was. Oh,
Hey guys,
hello.
hey
How's it
guys.
going? How's it going, dude?
Doing fine. I just I was doing side quests in Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
You got bored, huh? Needed a break, eh?
Because I was waiting for BS Busters.
Oh yeah, well, here you are. I'm glad you can make it. So basically, we're talking about how a lot of the Jewel brought up how basically a lot of the kart racing games have kind of like aside from Mario Kart, like during the fifth and sixth gens, there was tons of kart racing games, and now there's like barely Mario Kart, you know, and that's it. Like you have no others. And we were just discussing what would be a good IP to turn into a kart racing game. Since Jewel was here, you want to go first, Jewel?
I did see this one Mario Kart mod called with Dragon Ball Z characters.
That'd be interesting. You want to go first, Jewel?
Um, if anything, the closest thing I'm gonna have to say that I actually enjoyed as far as racing games go,
Hmm.
besides the obvious Mario Kart, would be Diddy Kong Racing, and I'm gonna hear groans for this from Miles. Sonic R.
No, I could do that. I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. If they just did another Sonic Racing Transformed, but added a single player mode, like a really hefty single player mode, I'd be cool with it.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. Though, if anything, Diddy Kong Racing is, as I said, was one of my favorites, besides Mario Kart.
Yeah, I always liked Diddy Kong Racing over Mario Kart 64.
Yeah, you've told us many times before in your previous
Like
podcasts.
like I know a lot of people love Mario Kart, but I was always like, you know what it is? I prefer single player games over like multiplayer games, and Mario Kart is mostly just a multiplayer game. Like the only Mario Kart that had kind of a hefty single player was Mario Kart Double Dash. That was fun. Um, but that's neither here nor there. So how would you do well, I mean, those were the IPs. Are there any twists you'd give Sonic R or New Diddy Kong Racing, Jewel?
Hmm. If we're going with the Sonic side,
Hmm.
I'd say add more tracks.
Okay.
Give us a give us a real battle mode battle arena like track, at least one. I'm
Hmm.
not asking for many. And try to try to see if we could add more characters that are able to do a lot more than just some multi jump or or glide. I mean, we had only one racer that had a real attack, and that was the robot, and that one had missiles.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What about balance? Because I know that Amy is considered to be one of the worst drivers in Sonic R.
Mm,
I'm I'm asking for at least something on the ground floor before I ask for balance, because trust me,
And I'm also
balance is another issue entirely.
Should we also expect Jet the Hawk to be in the roster since he uses a jet board?
I mean,
if you ask me, oh, now that I think about it, thank you very much, Pink, for actually reminding me of one of the other recent games that I actually liked that was able to compete with Mario Kart for me in a sense.
well, I mean, that's why in my head I always thought, like, instead of just doing Sonic R, why not another Racing Transformed? Except maybe mix it up a little bit. Instead of having the vehicles that transform, maybe you pick a vehicle, but you have the tracks in such a way so that any vehicle is viable. So you can have a speedboat versus a jet versus a cart, and all of them are viable.
Yeah, but I was going to say that's kind of true in a sense when you play Sonic Riders.
Like how certain paths can only be accessed through certain vehicle types.
Well, I was thinking the way the tracks would be, there would be paths that would be viable for each vehicle.
For each race.
And some parts of it would be, you'd use the same path. It's just different vehicles have different things. Kind of like how in Diddy Kong Racing, how like the hover carts were really hard to control, but they go over a lot really well. Yeah, or the car kind of sucked in water, but like on tracks it was really good. Or maybe the airplane is really fast, but like you could have like different things.
Different.
Yeah, you could make it viable so that. If you do have the multiplayer component, everyone could feel like they had a chance to win.
Believe it or not, as I said, Sonic Riders is kind of like that in a sense that thanks to certain gears that you equip, you can actually go different routes. You can actually take two different kind of routes.
Okay.
Take all of them.
No, all right. My only thing is, I hope they have other characters aside from just Sonic characters. Like, I would like them to bring back some of the characters they have from Sonic Racing Transformed, except for Danica Patrick, because to hell with her. But they could bring back I or Samba de Amigo or Vise from Skies of Arcadia Legends.
Or Knights.
Yeah, Knights. Yeah. Maybe each of the racers could have their own primary attack that they could use. I mean, they couldn't use it anytime. Maybe they'd have to build it up by building up a certain amount of speed or charge in their meter. They could either use that as a turbo or as an attack, right? So you got to be kind of strategic with it, plus you'd have things you could pick up on the tracks, kind of like balloons or the little gems.
I was going to say that's one of the few things that make kart racers stand out from other racing sims. That you actually have variables that are not able to be determined.
And no equivalent to a blue shell. Just has to be like if you're
but the blue shell is important for mechanical purposes, was to prevent the game from crashing if you overlap the CPUs so many times, like with Mario Kart 64.
I was going to say that.
See, that's bullshit because in Diddy Kong Racing, you could lap the computer if you were good enough, and nothing happened. So that's just bullshit.
I say objection because I still got missiles up my rear end for trying to lap some of those people.
No, I got so good at Diddy Kong Racing that basically, like, I knew the tricks and how to, like, boost my turbos and stuff when I'd hit a zipper. Basically, I would lap, even on the hardest difficulties, I would lap the computer. I'd be like I'd be on my third lap. The other CPUs would be on their second lap, and I'd be in the middle of the pack on my final lap. And yeah, sometimes they'd shoot me, but it didn't mean anything because I'm on the final lap. So my point is that no more rubber banding, no more, they hit you with the blue shell. No. If you're playing multiplayer and you're really good and you hit everything right, yes, You can lap other players. If you're playing people that suck, they need to know that they suck. They need to know you lap their.
The AI.
So that way the game will not be too easy.
No, they need to feel like they're losing badly. That's the whole point.
The AI, because I could take no rubber banding. The blue shell, I'm iffy with, because if anything, it gets boring when you're up front and have nothing to contend with.
No, it gets boring for me when you're in front and all you're picking up is shit because the AI, the algorithm has basically set it so that someone who's in fourth or third place gets a blue shell. That's bullshit, and that's why there's no rubber band.
But that's balance. They want to
I was gonna say
that's not balance. Here's what balance is. If you're good and you're better than the other racers, you should be kicking their ass because that's what the balance should be. I know what they're trying. That is imbalance. No, that is balance. No, think about it, man. If you're playing basketball, right? And let's say you're playing the Olympics, the Summer Sports Olympics.
Nice try, but you're getting off topic on me here because I can say that one.
I'm not. I'm giving you because he's saying that having it so that someone can pull out a God card and basically kick someone's ass. But
here's the thing: it only happens to the people. That thing only appears for the people that are in the way back, as in 9th and beyond.
Man, I've had the blue shell appear when I was playing Mario Kart when I was in 3rd, 4th, 5th place.
I was gonna say that's a rarity, as in that isn't supposed to happen really at all unless you're way in the back.
No, not Mario Kart 8. No, it doesn't. Mario Kart 8. It's some bullshit with Mario Kart 8.
I'm sorry, but that barely happens to me, really.
It's happened to me. If you go to Super 200 or like the hardest difficulty, you could be nailing every corner, and they're like, "Oh, that makes it more competitive." No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No.
I mean, my brother loves 200cc because it makes the game more challenging.
No, it doesn't. No, I mean that might be your brother's opinion, and I respect his opinion. But to me, it's some bullshit.
For me, I mix with the blue shell because if one thing, it really makes you keep on your toes, but still, it's a real pain in the shell.
I mean, I'll give an example of what I mean. I'll use a real world example, right? You watch the Olympics. They have the Summer Olympics where normally the U.S. plays basketball. And almost every single Summer Olympics, we dominate in basketball. Why? Because it's our sport. We created it. We have an entire league devoted to people being really good at it. So when we play other teams from other countries and kick their ass, it might not be competitive, but I mean, we're the best at it. We should be kicking their ass. Like, in the years that they get close, it feels good because they've had years of losing horrifically to us. and that makes it more enjoyable to watch. There shouldn't be this, well, we need to make it more competitive.
Why I said that I call foul on you this one.
So we let them pull out a gun and shoot somebody.
No, this is where I say you're pulling a foul on me because trying to pull real world sports onto something that's fantasy, even though you're saying that losing is supposed to make you better.
It does.
I call BS on some of that because not on the sports algorithm because that stays since that is freaking real sports with real things on the line.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, you're right. I should compare one game to another game. Okay, let's say you play chess. All right. Normally when you learn to play chess, when you first start learning to play and you graduate from playing people who are at the same low skill level as you to people that are better than you, you're going to spend a lot of time getting your ass handed to you. That's just how you learn to play. You play against people that are more skilled than you. And in losing, you begin to pick up stratagems and move sets that let you get better. it would be some bullshit if in chess they were like, well, in order to make it more competitive, you can pull this card out that lets you get extra 3 moves and the other person can't move. I mean, that's basically what the blue shell essentially is. It's like, which is kind of bullshit to the person who's more skilled because they're using their skills to kick your ass, and then you pull out this bullshit. Well, I'm getting my ass kicked, so I'll pull this out.
That's the same argument used for competitive Smash Bros. Players, which is why they hate items and stage hazards.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Stage hazards are there because that's the nature of whatever stage you choose. Items are there because Smash Brothers isn't meant to be played competitively, but kart racing is a racing game. It just, instead of using fast vehicles, you're using karts. But I mean, there are games that are like kart racers that don't have shit like that, like Extreme G, Wipeout 2044, Hydro Thunder. You know, there are games where you have racing that don't have something as egregious as rubber banding AI and a blue shell.
Like
that
F-Zero?
are just as competitive. What?
You mean like F-Zero?
F-Zero just has punishing tracks. Punishing tracks.
I think we found the extremes here. Either you want the blue shell, or you want rear end kicking tracks.
I'd rather have rear end kicking tracks than a blue shell and rubber banding AI. It's like, let's see, I just
rubber banding AI. I could agree with you on that.
Like here,
the blue shell, I'm iffy with.
Well, I mean, you know, like, or you should at least have the option to turn it off. Like the way I feel about it is if I'm basically playing a racing game, whether it be a kart racer or a high octane speed game like F-Zero or Extreme G or something like that, if I'm hitting every corner correctly, hitting every boost perfectly, why the hell is someone who I know I picked up an item and dropped a minefield behind me, they're back behind me after taking a massive hit because I saw their icon disappear from my rear view like in 20 seconds. And it's like, I've used that racer. That racer is not that fast. I hate rubber banding AI in racing games. It's annoying.
That I could, as I said, I could agree on the rubber banding AI. I mean, that should be off. But
I mean, I understand that they're trying to make it feel, you know, white knuckle, but no.
You can still remain in first place while the rubber band AI is like I do whenever I play the recent Mario Kart games.
Of course you can, but I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't feel as satisfying to just thoroughly kick the AI's ass and start lapping people. That's hilarious. It's like you're not as good as me.
You get a satisfying reward if you keep your toes up while trying to prevent upcoming AIs from outspeeding you while you're in first place.
Nah, man, no. I have to dominate the entire system.
I agree with I agree with getting rid of the rubber band AI. I just don't agree with the items things because items are the random factor.
Well, yeah, except for except for the blue shell. No, I'm not saying that items in general. It's kind of like how in Smash Brothers, it's fun until Smash Brothers is really fun with items on until you start having matches where it's all bombs and power hammers.
I was gonna say personally, power hammers and gust jars because oh god, those jars.
Well, okay, if you're in an item match where it's random, but I've been in matches where it's all bombs and power hammers, and it's like, come on, man, this isn't even fun anymore. Because basically, all you have to do is be the first person to pick up a bomb and just throw it at people. And you know, once you get people's damage up high enough, you be the first person to get to a hammer. And it's over. I mean, it's.
Hey, at least the power hammer is nerfed a bit, where there's a chance it'll fall off.
Well, yeah, they added that, but there's also, I mean, once you use the power hammer, your double jump is gone. So if someone manages to use, if you have a character like Link or Samus who has like a far grab, like with the hook shot or their grapple beam, they can grab you from a distance and throw you off the edge, and you're screwed because you don't have a double jump anymore. You can't use any of your upward mobility jump attacks. So, you know, I mean, there's strategies around the power hammer, but there's
unless it's the magic hammer where you can float.
You should have the option to turn off, or kind of like how in Smash Brothers Brawl, and could you do it in 4?
Nope, you cannot. You cannot turn off stage hazards in any.
No, not stage hazards. You could turn off items.
You can turn off items in all 4 Smash games. You could turn off items, and you could set the race that they'd show up. It was great. I like that, because then you could play, and you could have like, okay, this is going to be an endurance match, so health will drop once in a while, so you gotta stay on toes, one life or 2 lives, but that's neither here nor there. So, do you have anything to add, Joel, to your Sonic or Diddy Kong game?
I at least said what I could for the Sonic one. For the Diddy Kong one, I almost wouldn't touch it, but I would honestly want to see more battle-like arenas that you have objectives to. And
more than the 4 you had in that game?
Huh?
More than the 4 that they had in Diddy Kong Racing?
Yeah, which would be the get certain bananas to your castle, get some eggs into your basket and have them hatch, and 2 death battle arenas.
Fair enough.
Which was what Diddy Kong had.
Yeah,
I would have more than that.
Yeah.
And one thing, and this is probably going to miss a little bit.
Go ahead.
No silver coin challenge or the balloon pops. And if you're wondering where that came from, Diddy Kong Racing DS.
The silver coin challenge was some bullshit. I agree. I think Diddy Kong Racing DS was a shitty port. So I mean, I can't disagree with you, because I have that game.
Silver coins were always has been since the original.
The silver coins were there in the original, but they weren't like, it wasn't. They changed a lot of shit in the DS version of the game that made it worse than the N64 version. Like in the
to get a head start.
Like, okay, I'll give you an example of what I mean. In the N64
you have to
version,
blow for one, you have to spin for another, and you gotta
like the
down for
the touch controls. The touch controls made it harder to play.
At least at the beginning of the races.
No, just period. Like a kart racer should not have touch controls unless you have something. Unless you have an aspect where you're getting new parts to add to your kart, kind of like Lego racers or something, and you have to
saying those
thing that would work. But
I was saying that I got it too, and I was saying that at the start of the race, though, the touch controls are a pain in the rear end.
That's a pain in the ass. You should just have to press a button in order to do a turbo, not let me whirl the propeller around. Let me blow on this, man. Fuck you. That's how I feel.
I was gonna say that's only the nice annoyance.
Yeah,
the real annoyance would be the balloon challenge.
Well, that's because they wanted to add more value, but instead they messed up the formula, because all they had to do was just do a straight port.
The more annoyance would be the balloon challenge, because
because they had the balloon challenge in the original game, but it wasn't. It was
not that one. I mean, for each track, you had to pop certain balloons in order to get the next balloon of that track. And that replaced the silver coin challenge. And
that's why I'm saying in DS that was a bad thing to add, because it was a lot easier in it was a lot easier in the N64 version. Because like once you knew the tracks, it was like, okay, I got to go get that coin, and it's like, okay, so I like that coin is in the grassy area, and I'm driving in a cart. So I know I have to get 2 blue balloons so that when I hit the grassy area, I can just use the the boost to get through the grassy area because I know I'm going to take a hit in speed because I'm using whatever character. Because when you hit grass in a cart, your speed went down, your acceleration went down. So because you're in grass, and the cart was really good on blacktop, whatever it was.
Yeah, depending on the
Substrate.
track.
You know, some of them were kind of
out there.
So, anything else about your idea? Or is that it?
I think that's about it, unless you guys got anything to add.
I just have one thing to add. If they do another Diddy Kong Racing, they need to bring back the mildly racist Indian voice for Taj. How's it going? What is your wish today? I will turn your cart into a hovercraft. I will turn your hovercraft into a plane. They need to bring back, and they need to bring back WizPig. Taj and WizPig, and have more worlds. Because in the original game, you had the dinosaur world, you had the ice world, you had the
village and the beach.
You had the water world, you had the medieval village, and then you had space. Which actually, when you went into space, it was really cool because everything was a ripoff of Star Wars. But almost everything was a ripoff of Star Wars. Well, I mean, they had a level where you're on a space station, you have to do a Death Star trench, and there's stuff shooting at you. You know, it was just a lot of it was just ripoffs of Star Wars, which is not. Look, if you're going to rip off a science fiction property, can't go wrong with Star Wars. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, but yeah, have more worlds. Like maybe have like a dangerous forest, and maybe like I don't know, like a city, an urban environment. I don't know, something like that. Whatever.
Let's see, for my idea about Dragon Ball racing game, I'm debating whether or not they should fly or use hover cars.
Maybe why not both, depending on the character. Like if you're Hercule, he would have a hover car. If you're Bulma, she would have a hover car. If you're Vegeta, he could fly. If you're Goku, he could fly. If you're Gohan, he could fly.
Well, what about
it depends.
What about flying Nimbus?
Yeah, if you have Kid Goku, he has or Kid Goku or Kid Gohan, they have flying Nimbus. But if you choose adult Goku or Gohan, they have yeah. Or you could have Bardock as a playable character. He's in like one of those Dragon Ball Z Saiyan pods. That would be his
capsules.
Vehicle. Well, they aren't really capsules, but you know what I'm saying, like those things. You could have one of those.
Yeah, they're pods.
Yeah. As for Frieza, you could have him in the same thing that his dad had when he came to Earth and got killed by Future Trunks. You could have him in one of these things. Oh no!
Oh, you're like getting salt to the wounds.
And
what about if you play as Trunks? Will he use his time capsule?
Well, if you have Future Trunks, then he has to be flying. But you could have like bonus characters, kind of like how TT was in Diddy Kong Racing. You have King Kai with that awesome car. That car on that planet that could never go anywhere, just in one circle around the. Except, like, he could be one of the best racers in the game. You could have Master Roshi on that turtle.
Oh.
You could have let's see, who else? What other characters could you have as racers? You could have you could have Fat Majin Buu.
What about Emperor Pilaf?
Yeah, you could have Emperor Pilaf. Of course, you'd have to have Piccolo, and like you would have items, but items wouldn't be like balloons like they are in Diddy Kong Racing or
like the capsules
or question blocks as they'd be the capsules. And here's the thing: different characters would have different would have different sets of capsules depending on that character.
I just
even
realized
if they get the same type of capsule.
You're making me think now what you're planning on with capsule customization.
Yeah.
That would actually be like the Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's racing game for the Wii.
I didn't play that game. I knew it was based on that really shitty anime, and I was like, no, I'm good.
But its card games are motorcycles.
Yeah, that's when I basically said, yeah, I'm good. I don't need this. I'm good.
I followed Yu-Gi-Oh all the way to Zexal, so trust me, at least you only missed one good last season.
The only good, I mean, I hate to say this, the only good anime, the only good, like, Yu-Gi-Oh was good for the first 2 seasons, and then they dropped the main character and they started a new thing, and I just stopped caring. I was like, I don't care.
It wasn't that. I mean, if you're following the gameplay,
for Yu-Gi-Oh fans that they drop Yugi as the main protagonist, yet they want Ash to be replaced by a new protagonist.
Well, I mean, but Yugi. Here's the difference between Yugi and Ash. At least from the 2 fan bases. Yu-Gi-Oh bends the rules of the card game, but if you watch Yu-Gi-Oh, you can still pick up some solid strategies for the card game. Even with later iterations that don't have Yugi Muto and Seto Kaiba and all those different characters and whatever. Ash pretty much devolves into whatever is the Pokemon du jour of the series that season. Just basically wrecking Pokemon that if you play, like, it's the problem with Pokemon now is that generally speaking, you don't learn if you play Pokemon and you watch the Pokemon anime, not the Japanese anime, like the American anime that's made for American audiences. If you watch that anime and try to use those strategies in real Pokemon battles, you'll get your ass kicked. Generally speaking, against people who know what they're doing. If you're playing kids who've never played Pokemon, go for it. Against people
like are getting made about card games anime such as Yu-Gi-Oh, how they don't represent how to play those card games in real life.
They give you real in Yu-Gi-Oh you do have life points. Yu-Gi-Oh is unrealistic in like this guy takes massive damage and he's like, I've got 50 health points left. Now I will use this. It's kind of dramatized in how he does stuff, but the general rules of how there's turns and you build a deck and you have interdependence on your deck and like how you use trap cards, magic cards, special properties of monsters, defense mode, attack mode, face down. Like
some of that is pulled out with BS God armor.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean,
it does that a lot more than what Pokemon does. Trust me.
No. Pokemon's worse. Cause I played Yu-Gi-Oh competitively for like 4 years.
It's a lot worse in Yu-Gi-Oh than Pokemon because at least in Pokemon there isn't any lives at stake, whereas in Yu-Gi-Oh,
Dude, I'm not talking about that, man. I'm talking about in general in a real world setting.
I mean, as in when it comes to being faithful to the rules itself. In that case, Pokemon gets away with far less than Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm gonna stand by my statement. If you watch the Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't know about Yu-Gi-Oh now because I stopped watching after the first 2.5 seasons.
This is from somebody that had to endure all those seasons of both Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Here's what I'll say. The original Yu-Gi-Oh series with Yugi Muto and all that stuff. Yes, the series was a little ridiculous, and it was designed to sell trading cards. Let's keep it real. Just like Pokemon's designed to sell Pokemon merchandise. All this shit is designed to sell you toys. and shit that you don't need.
That's even despite thinking that already.
Yu-Gi-Oh will tell you the basic rules of the card game more than Pokemon during its first beginning, because basically, like I said, I remember when Pokemon came out. I was a little kid, like 10 years old, and I remember like playing the Pokemon game, being good at it, playing it competitively, and people who just watched that stupid ass cartoon building a shitty team and thinking that would beat someone like me who had actually paid attention to types and you know, like I remember destroying someone's team. They had 6 Pokemon. I destroyed 5 of them with a well-made team. They hadn't knocked out any of my Pokemon or given any
good TM moves.
No, they hadn't given any type of status effects or anything. Because I mean, sometimes knocking out another player's Pokemon with a negative status move, so they have to take it out of the fight and put in another one, can be just as effective of just KOing it right there. And
I was gonna say that Pokemon at least kept that aspect alive in the sense that you could build a team and then try to build off of it and make it better.
No, these people try to do this shit. They're like, I'm gonna pull out my Pikachu
at their expense.
I swear to God, this kid. We were playing a high level battle.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Have you seen the real Yu-Gi-Oh decks?
Well, when I played it competitively, I knew a lot of people that built massive decks. I
tried to build decks that the main characters had.
Yeah, that's really hard.
Worse than Pokemon.
Well, because a lot of those cards are rare and really friggin' expensive. For me, when I played it competitively, I just did 20 cards. I did a 20-card deck. I know some people are gonna get mad, like, why'd you do such a small deck? It's easier for me to cycle through my cards that way.
The official rule set's 40.
Not when I was playing. Maybe now, not when I was playing.
Also, Exiliia is still the most powerful card in the series.
I never got a Exiliia. I never got that card. My deck was heavy on special effect monsters and traps and magic cards, because basically I would basically use my special effect cards. I had 5 like 4-star monsters that were like that had probably like that were the way they were stated was
1900 or higher.
Well, 4 stars that either had high attack, low defense, or high defense, low attack, and then the rest of them were like monsters that maybe had shitty stats, but they had a special effect. Like if this monster is destroyed or leaves the field, is put face up or leaves the field because it's destroyed, you can summon one of your other monsters. So basically, I would get my stronger monsters on the field, and then I would destroy them with my smaller deck. Like, I don't know why people always like, because basically when I first started, like a lot of people would try and make those decks like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Tristan and all those other people. I'm like, man, just build a deck that works for you. Shit.
As I said, those decks are worse than what Pokemon done.
I don't know. I can't tell you how many people whose ass got kicked by me who were like, I'm gonna use Pikachu. Really, bro? Really? Seriously? Really?
Unless it's a light bulb Pikachu, which gives it the second highest special attack stat.
No, man.
The whole game.
Never.
I'd rather use Raichu than Pikachu, and even Raticate has better stats than Pikachu.
The problem, I'm just simply saying, what I'm saying is that, I don't know, we kind of got off topic. We need to get back to the main topic. All I'm saying is this. They both are designed, it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated TV show from when we were kids. Well, not you, Pinky, because you're not old enough. But when Jewel and I were kids, it was there to sell you toys, but it was also kind of a good show within of itself.
Hey,
it was selling us toys, but it was good.
I did grow up with the original TMNT.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. Oh, it was syndicated where you were. Okay, you lucky devil. They took it off where I was, so I had to get VHSs of it. Thank God Netflix finally put that shit on there. Turtle power.
Yep.
But that's neither here nor there. So who wants to so Dragon Ball Z, you were saying.
Yeah. An idea for a racing game based on Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and of course the courses will have to be based off the actual locations from the Dragon Ball series, like Planet Namek, Capsule Corporation, like West City, and perhaps maybe the Power Tournament, and probably a few locations based from Dragon Ball Super.
Okay. The only thing is, I hope in this game, if it ever gets made, they have a thing where you can gather either the 7 Dragon Balls during a race, or you can power up to a point where you can use that character's ultimate attack, which causes massive devastation to the track and changes up how it's done. So, like, you know, like
Yeah.
if you're driving as Frieza, he uses his big beam or whatever, his big bomb. I forget the name of it. Destroys half the track. It's like, damn, this track is all jacked up.
Is anyone interested in another Mega Man racing game?
There's a
Mega Man racing game.
Yeah,
there's another one. There's a Mega Man racing game.
Yeah, there was. I think it was for the PlayStation 1.
Wow, that sounds horrible.
I was gonna say that's worrying because Mega Man's usually trying to get powers from his opponents. If his opponents have the powers, wouldn't that mean you have to ram into them in order to take their...
I could show you a video example of the game itself.
No, I believe you. I don't think it would be very good because generally speaking, Mega Man doesn't do well in genres that aren't like straight up video games. Like a Mega Man RPG works. A Mega Man action game works. Mega Man Soccer? Mega Man Soccer was a turd. And Mega Man, I don't think a racing game would be good.
I was gonna say, what about Mega Man in a fighting game?
If it was done properly, that's still kind of like if it's an arcadey fighting game, it could work. But if you were trying to make it realistic,
how about a revival of Mega Man Soccer?
No. I rented that game when I was a little kid, and nope.
I was gonna say there has been a Mega Man fighting game of sorts, where Wily is of course the main villain, and
Mega Man Power
Masters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think in the GameCube Mega Man Collection Volume 2, you got both of those games in there. And they're fun. They're like Smash Brothers almost. They're fine. They're not the best games ever. The thing is like Mega Man is really good in, like I said, Mega Man's really good in like he's really good in like video game style games. Well, he's good. Okay, if you do a Mega Man RPG, that works. If you do a Mega Man like his normal genre, which is like kind of a stiff platforming, it works. If you do Mega Man action RPG like Mega Man Battle Network or Mega Man Star Force, those work. Mega Man, once you move out of that realm into like more realistic stuff like Mega Man Soccer,
Mega Man Soccer, I could agree with you on.
I mean, I guess a Mega Man racing game could work. I guess.
Mega Man Racing, I say, is a stretch.
I mean, if they did a Mega Man racing game where it was based off of Mega Man X and your vehicles were like those awesome motorcycles or ride armors, that'd be cool. Because you could race, and if someone got too close, you could punch the shit out of them with one of those ride armors or run them down with those hover cycles. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way it could work because Mega Man has not done too well these days with stuff that isn't, his thing. His bag, baby, as they say in Austin Powers.
Now you're getting real old on me.
That's not my bag, baby. That's not my bag, I swear.
Oh yes, I remember there was an article I read like a few years ago where they mentioned about the Capcom wanting to turn Resident Evil into their own Mario series and mentioned about a Resident Evil card.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me laughing my ass off with that one? Did you hear me all the way where you are in California? Did you hear the laughter?
No,
of me laughing. Resident Evil is a very niche game. The character that Capcom should be trying to make into their Mario is the character who is in fact their Mario, Mega Man.
Right.
That's the character because Resident Evil will never be. It's never going to be that type of IP. It's not going to have universal appeal.
That's a horror game.
Well, not just that. It's just the subject matter, the characters. Like, most people don't even know all the characters in Resident Evil. They just don't. Okay? And I know some people are going to get mad when I say that. They're going to be like, but I know Claire Redfield and Chris Redfield.
Yeah, that's
Leon Kennedy.
That you're going to have to look into for those characters. I mean, they had opportunities to make Mega Man their real Mario in a sense, and they also had other characters that they could have done. I mean,
the thing is like, if you show a picture of a Resident Evil character, most gamers are not going to know who the hell they are. Only the most hardcore of hardcore are going to be like, yeah, I know who that is.
I was going to say
Mega Man, they know who that is.
The only one I would say would be an option besides the Mega Man would be actually one of their fighting game characters, like Ryu.
Yeah, but Street Fighter spinoffs haven't done too well overall.
Puzzle Fighter.
Yeah, but if you look at the sales of Puzzle Fighter compared to the mainline series, it hasn't come close to the sales of the mainline series. And plus, they haven't put the same effort into Puzzle Fighters as they have into the mainline series. So it's kind of like the snake eating itself. But
I asked that because that at least has a little possibility of flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, it could work. I mean, but even Puzzle Fighters isn't as popular as Mega Man. Like, the average gamer hasn't even heard of Puzzle Fighter. Whereas, even gamers who haven't played a Mega Man game know that Mega Man exists. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I was saying that Puzzle Fighter at least shows that Street Fighter can be flexible, but not as flexible as Mega Man.
Yeah, I mean, Mega Man, as long as they don't put him into a sports game or a racer, I don't know, man. I don't think a racer could work. I don't know. I'm sorry. I know some people are going to get mad at me, but I just don't see it happening.
Not to mention, how is that going to work? Like, what kind of vehicles? And will the zombies be involved? Like Nemesis.
Well, obviously the zombies would be involved, and the vehicles would probably. You know what it'd probably be? It'd probably be deformed chibi characters riding in stylized chibi vehicles.
I would at least have the zombies be the pedestrians or bicyclists trying to take a bite out of you.
And you know who a guest character could be? Frank West from Dead Rising.
Yeah.
And
I just realized
that Chinese zombie from Darksiders. I mean, not Darksiders.
Darkstalkers.
Yeah, Darkstalkers. Yeah.
Great. Now you got me thinking of a new game mode in a sense, which would be which would be pedestrian killer.
Yeah. You drive around running down zombies. Like, maybe you could have like an open world type of a hub world where you can like run down zombies and get money, which you can then use to upgrade your cart. I mean, it's not going to be a lot of money, but maybe in the beginning of the game, before you get to an area, you can just kind of grind a little bit in the open hub world and get some cash and upgrade your cart a little bit so that you can, makes the first few races a little bit easier.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking if they're going with the item system, then if you get enough, then you can actually buy upgrades to those items that you actually obtain at random.
Yeah.
And watch those fireworks fly.
Yeah, and instead of you finding items on the tracks, like you can equip weapons, like a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, while you're driving, like for the race. But you can't switch them between, you can't switch them during the race. But like, let's say you beat the game on the hardest mode, you get the infinite rocket launcher because this is Resident Evil, and that's I've got the infinite rocket launcher.
I actually thought you'd go for the Chicago typewriter.
No, man, the infinite rocket launcher from RE4 was just cheap as hell. It was like once you beat the game on the hardest setting and got the infinite rocket launcher, it was like, I'm killing everyone. That weird doctor with the chainsaw, fuck you, bitch. Boom. Because it's a rocket launcher. I mean, come on. I mean, really, if you're in a zombie apocalypse and you have the option of getting an infinite rocket launcher, and the shrapnel isn't going to kill you, but you can kill the zombies. I mean, come on. It's a no-brainer, folks.
The reason why I picked the Chicago typewriter, infinite ammunition, you could kill all those without killing yourself. But I could agree on that one.
But on the mutant baby man and the giant salamander and the other creepy dudes, I just feel safer with a rocket launcher. I don't know. It's like, that's cool. You have a machine gun, but I have a rocket launcher. I mean, a machine gun's pretty terrifying, but a rocket launcher, it's a little bit more intimidating. Just a smidgen.
Good point. The thing I would say is the only difference would be the reload speeds. It's
the infinite rocket launcher. It doesn't matter. But that's neither here nor there. So I guess it's my turn. I thought of something completely original. What if they made a kart racing game that was based on Looney Tunes?
Wasn't there one original? Wasn't that one? Isn't there already one?
Yeah, but it wasn't very good. It was a shitty cash tie-in that was a shitty racing game, and like you can tell when something's just like someone bought the license and just made a game and got it out there. I'm talking about a kart racing game that actually has heart and has spunk.
That's more like Looney Tunes than the previous one.
Well, I mean, they got the license, but they also give a shit about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my idea is kind of like take the formula of Diddy Kong Racing, but make it bigger. So the game you'd have both Looney Tunes and Tiny Toons in it. So Looney Tunes and Tiny Toons.
And the items will be from Acme, right?
Well, yeah, they'd all be from Acme. And here's the thing, okay? You'd have like the Tiny Toon characters would behave like small characters. So they'd have like insane acceleration, but like they're small. So like a hit just does massive damage to them. The Looney Tune characters are heavier, but they don't accelerate quite as fast, but they're faster, right?
They got high top speed, but low speed overall. Right?
Yeah, of course you'd have special hidden characters that have insane stats no matter what, like the Roadrunner, Cecil the turtle with his rocket shell that is just insanely fast.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez, yeah. Gossamer. Well, Gossamer is not a super character, but I just want to put him in there. And so basically, the game would be a kart racer. Where most of the characters use carts, except for a few characters like the
aforementioned Roadrunner,
Speedy Gonzalez,
and the Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah, the Tasmanian Devil. It just wouldn't be good. Like the Tasmanian Devil needs to spin around, smashing into people, trying to eat them. But all the other characters would either use carts or some type of cartoonized
vehicle.
Chibi version of a vehicle, like Daffy Duck would use like a convertible, like a sedan convertible Maybe Bugs Bunny would use a sedan convertible. And I mean, that you'd have them using their classic phrases, like if Bugs Bunny gets a Acme hole and he puts it down behind him and someone falls through it, he says, you know, ain't I a stinker, stuff like that. You know, and you should have it so that they're aware, the characters are aware of who screws them over when they use, and they don't call them items in this game, they're called gags. Uses a gag against them. So like if Bugs Bunny uses an Acme anvil on Daffy Duck, he says, "You're despicable. you smug son of a beep." You know, stuff like that. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, I'm thinking something like that. You know, I think that would be a really good game. Maybe have it be, you know, you could just, you know, beat the shit out of people. It'd be a kart racing game. You know, maybe have an open hub world where you could do shit. Of course, you earn money, not fake money, real money, which you can then use to upgrade your vehicle and upgrade your stats. So, like, you can carry more ammo, so you can stack ammo. The items that the gags that you get do more damage, or they transform into something more dangerous. Like, let's say Wile E. Coyote can transform his Acme speed skates into a rocket pack, something like that. You know, I think that could be a really fun game. And of course, it would have the Looney Tunes melodies and stuff like that. Let's see. The only thing is, I don't know who to make into a boss villain. Like, at this point, I'm thinking either have the boss villain be a character like have like each world have their own boss villain. Like in the Looney Tunes Wild Wild West, it'll be Yosemite Sam. In Acme Acres, which is where the Tiny Toons live, it'll be Montana Max, who's basically Yosemite Sam Jr. And you know, maybe
what about implementing the Monstars as boss characters?
That's too far. That's
a reach.
That's too far. No, if you have a space level, the boss will obviously have to be Marvin Martian.
Oh,
it has to be Marvin Martian. And basically, if you want to beat Marvin Martian and get the best ending, you'll have to do it as Daffy Duck, dressed in his Duck Dodgers in the 23rd and a half century. Because, I mean, come on. Duck Dodgers in the 23rd and a half century! And we can even have the theme song from the reboot they did in the early 2000s with Tom Jones, you know. Duck Dodgers in the 23rd and a half century. Yeah. But yeah, I think that'd be an awesome game. So I guess an hour has passed, so I guess we can move on to the second topic because I didn't know we'd have another person here. So the second topic is, how could we revamp the open world? Because I was playing Breath of the Wild a week ago, and I realized that Breath of the Wild has pretty much pushed the open world as far as it can go.
Yeah,
like
that should be obvious.
Like, basically, at this point, to go any further would be redundant and decimate the genre. What I mean by this is,
how would you improve the open world in a different manner?
Well, I was going to say what I mean by this is that Breath of the Wild shows you the cracks in the open world genre. Like, people say they like open world games because it lets them explore all they want to and create their own stories. The problem is that, what if you don't want to create your own story? What if you want a curated story, a curated dungeon, a well-crafted dungeon, a well-crafted story, a well-crafted narrative? You lose that with a massive open world where you can create your own vision, lure some bokoblins into a trap and blow them up with a fire arrow. Yeah, that's cool.
But where is this going?
Well, I was thinking, what would be your ideal open world game? Like, I was playing Breath of the Wild, and I went to one of my favorite curated sequences in the game. There are curated sequences in the game. There's a part in the game where you have to go to the Goron domain, where you have to rescue the descendant of the champion of the Gorons, this Goron that can create a shield around himself. In order to rescue him, you have to go around in this mine cart blowing up these sentries. And it's actually a really cool sequence. Like really, really cool. And the whole time I was like, wow, this would have been great if they'd have put this in a dungeon. Like, could you imagine a dungeon in the Goron area where you're in a mine cart going around blowing up these little outposts where enemies are like trying to stop you from going further in the dungeon? And
Or
then you get
at
to
least have it make a puzzle.
That would have been cool. And I'm like, man, it's wasted potential that it's just out here in the open and not in an actual proper dungeon. So I was like, man, that would have been really neat. So I thought to myself, well, what would be my ideal open world game? Like, what would be an IP that really needs an open world in order to really express it, but not so open that you can't have, well-crafted, curated dungeons and areas and stories? Like, what would work for me? And since Jewel went first last time, I guess you can go first this time.
Yeah.
Pinky.
All right. So, perhaps my ideal open world would be something like Breath of the Wild, with less empty fields and more action between locations.
Okay.
More what's going on between locations.
All right. Do you have an IP that would work with this aside from Breath of the Wild? Because I don't really want to keep on using the same.
No, all I can think of right now is an original IP.
All right. So describe it to us.
Yeah, I haven't thought much about the original IP.
Okay. Well, we'll let Jewel go, and then I'll go last, and we'll come back to you if you have any further thoughts. Jewel, go!
Believe it or not, I'm actually thinking Metroid could probably try this out in a sense.
All right. Give us a description.
Here's the thing: it's that Samus is going through outposts that have called out for SOSs in a sense of what's going on with each planet. Hopefully, not blowing up for once.
Mm-hmm.
and with each planet, you can actually explore to a certain degree of what areas that you can encounter, which has their own themes in a sense, like you have a fire planet that has molten lava areas that are all around, a water planet with about one place of land, and so on, where you actually get to explore these planets from the inside or outside, depending on where you are. Not sure how big each planet's going to be, but to each their own. And the power-ups that you gain actually opens up more of the planets more areas of each planet that you can explore. And you can actually pick which planet you want to try to explore first, minus the tutorial planet, of course. And then after you open up certain areas, you get the location of a certain hidden asteroid or satellite that's planned to do some major damage to the system, and you go into that for your big encounter.
So essentially, basically, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption on steroids with more openness and more freedom.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least that's a big idea in a sense.
I like that because I like Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. It's one of my favorite games.
Thanks, Joe, for reminding me of a good idea for my ideal open world. And it'll be based on the Star Fox IP.
All right, that's cool.
So, or there won't be any on foot. There won't be any on foot gameplay. Instead, it'll all be just on rail shooters where you can visit the next, go from planet to planet through space, and then go in all where it's always all range mode, and whichever location you go to, we'll take you to the next planet. We'll take you to the nearest planet, so you won't get there's no way of getting lost.
But wouldn't flying from planet to planet kill fuel?
You can go to a different. You'll be able to go to a different planet in any direction you're going without getting lost. Of course, there will also be some enemy ships and obstacles blocking your way towards those planets.
As long as you add something like giving people the ability to scavenge alien technology to make their vehicle, their R-wing better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. I'd be down with that.
It'll be a nice evolution to the Star Fox series.
That'd be cool. I guess it's my turn now.
Hopefully you got something.
Well, I mean, I used the one I really want to use for my open world for my kart racer, and I can't use it twice, so I'll use one of my secondaries. I've always been a fan of
is it the Donkey Kong open world game?
No, not actually. I've already used that one. So, as anyone knows, I'm a huge fan of science fiction. Like, I like sci-fi movies, sci-fi television shows, sci-fi books, sci-fi comics, science fiction RPGs. But I also love GTA. So what if we made a GTA-esque style game, Saints Row GTA-esque style game, where you play a human being who's been abducted and by some aliens who are going to inject some drug into your brain stem, into your spinal cord, and that's going to affect your brain, and then use another thing to suck out your brain, and they're going to turn your brains into a drug that they're going to sell on the alien black market to make money. Fortunately, they're caught by the intergalactic police. Unfortunately, they wipe their system, so the alien police don't know where the hell you came from. So now you're a refugee on this alien planet, given the equivalent of $50, told to stay out of trouble and survive as best as you can until they can figure out how to get you back home.
So GTA in space?
Well, not quite GTA, although, this would be an M-rated game. So, you'd have to deal with alien prostitutes, alien pimps, alien drug dealers, alien cops.
However, the blood will not be red, since the aliens will have different blood color, like green.
There might be a few aliens with red blood. There might be some alien human hybrids with red blood, but generally speaking, you could have alien weapons. You could have, you could buy real estate, upgrade your character. I'm thinking more GTA San Andreas than GTA Los Santos. Oh God, I hate that game. I'm thinking as far as activities go, you can do heists kind of like Los Santos, where you can recruit people to help you on your heists in order to get, buku cash. But it's not just people, it's aliens. You can eventually buy ships in order to go to different places around the planet, maybe even to moons and asteroid belts and stuff. Stuff like that. Maybe eventually you get you can get your own asteroid and an asteroid belt, build a base. Cool stuff like that, I think, would be an awesome gameplay thing. Add awesome music. Maybe at the end of the game, you finally get back to Earth. You haven't aged at all, but it's like 50 years have gone past, and aliens are now living on Earth because people figured out aliens exist, and some of them have immigrated to Earth. I mean, it's Earth, you know. So things have changed. So that could lead to a sequel where you're on Earth, but it's changed so much from when you left. But you're the only one who's prepared for the change because you were living with aliens, so you know how they think and all that stuff. I think that'd be a fun game. Give her some awesome music, some great missions. I don't know. That's it. That's all I got. Maybe find out Elvis is an alien.
That'd be a cherry on top.
Yeah, you find out some of the most popular Earthlings are aliens. Like you find out, like you learn a new martial art, and you find out that the guy who started it is actually Bruce Lee. It turns out Bruce Lee was an alien. He's like, I really want to go back home, but they made me come here. You know, something like that, you know. But yeah, I really do think that would be a really fun game, and you know, it could work. So with that being said, anyone have any other topics they want to bring up before we wrap things up? Anything?
Oh yes. Billy Mitchell accused of using an emulator for Donkey Kong Arcade.
I could see that because Billy Mitchell is a dick. And anyone could figure this out if they watch The King of Kong, because, like I said, Billy Mitchell is a dick.
I was going to say that same one that was a total tool in trying to claim the #1 spot.
Billy Mitchell's a dick. That's all I got to say. He's got a fantastic head of hair, though. I mean, really impressive. But he's a dick.
As I said, that tool.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he cheated in order to train, in order to get his score. I would not be surprised because it's Billy Mitchell, and he's a dick.
And
any other?
The Sony CEO Kazuhira is stepping down on April 1st.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not a joke.
No, he really is. He's stepping down, and Yoshida's stepping up. I mean, I don't, personally speaking, like some people are like, man, what does this mean? It doesn't mean a damn thing, because the PlayStation division is run, like people who claim they love Sony don't seem to understand that the PlayStation division only accounts for like 15 to 20% of their total revenue generation. And that's larger than it was, but that's still not, actually less than that, like less than 10% actually. Like Sony does a lot of other stuff too.
And if I remember right, how many of those are succeeding so far?
Well, they're poised to have a record year this year. How much of that is because they shuttered a lot of underperforming stuff and focused on what was really working for them, and them going into cell phones and all that other weird stuff? I don't know. Here's the thing: you can't trust Sony's numbers because they lie and obfuscate.
As I said, and how much of that is successful?
Like I said, you can't trust their numbers. So, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm like, I guess because there's a good possibility that those numbers are inflated due to replacements.
And one last news. Is it just me, or is the sexual allegation claims spreading across the video game industry from the movie industry? Because just recently, Counter-Strike co-creator Jez Cliff was booked for sexual exploitation of a child.
What?
I heard the evidence they have against him is pretty substantial. I mean, here's the thing. People are tired of people who are in power using that power in inappropriate ways to get what they want, whether it be sexual or otherwise. People are tired of it. And so, you know, it's the day of reckoning. I mean, I hate to put it any other way, but people are tired of it. People don't want to be screwed over and treated like garbage. You know, I mean, I'm not a woman, but, you know, I have female relatives who have been
sexually abused.
Well, the thing is that women are constantly barraged with bullshit. I'm guessing from what I've heard of women, they say that. They say even when it's not as explicit, they're constantly being,
it varies.
Yeah, I mean, Jewel will probably tell you that it's always something, and as men, we aren't deluged like that, so we don't see it. But from what I've heard from women, what I've listened to, and what they've told me, they are. So, if you have years and years, it's kind of like, I hate to say this, it's kind of like if you're a black person in America, you have years and years. You have years and years of dealing with racism, either overt or covert, silent racism.
Be it gentle or right on your face.
Yeah,
especially if you live in the South, mind you.
Yeah, and and people like to act like years and years of black people saying things like, "Hey, man, these cops are off the chain. They're racist. They're just doing stuff." And they're like, you were just resisting arrest. And now that they have body cams showing cops being off the chain doing really inappropriate things, people are like, I can't believe that happened. And now it's like people are like, oh, we need to do something. It's like, well, we've been telling you this shit for like 60, 70 years now, but we were lying.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah, we were lying for 70 years. We were lying. It was one concerted effort against the man. But that's kind of like how women are now, basically. Like years and years of women trying to tell people, look, that dude is shady. He's doing shady things. And he's being very
perverse.
I was going to say persuasive, but it's not persuasion. It's like they're using their power as leverage over the women. It's like, hey, you want this job? I'm going to need you to come in the back and do a little something for me. Hey, I'm a millionaire. I know you're supposed to just be giving me a manicure, pedicure, but I'm going to need you to do something a little bit extra for me. And women are tired of it. It's kind of like if you continuously kick a dog, at a certain point, the dog will snap back at you. This is the dog snapping back. And sadly, that also means that if someone else who isn't planning on hitting the dog has been so conditioned to snap back at a certain point that even people who might not have hit the dog might get bit. And that's going to happen too. But don't get mad at the women, get mad at the people who are messing with them. Oh, we've got some comments. Trinell83 says, I propose using Guardian Heroes level up system and go deep in the mythical lore of Japan, but the game we're using is Takamaru from Mysterious Muramasa Castle. That sounds good. And now use Breath of the Wild physics with it. Huh. Nintendo has a mostly unknown samurai. Time to give him his due.
Yeah, he's a character who is also a well-requested retro character for Smash. Since he's in the recent game.
I would like to see him in the game too. I would like to see him have his own game too, but I would rather have a remake of Mysterious Murasame Castle, except make it more like Legend of Zelda and maybe put it on the handheld and maybe make it a little more like Legend of Zelda and less time-based, where it's like, man, you got to get through this area in under a minute and a half, or it's your ass. LOL, Triple M's in the how's it going trip. Dennis Dyack situation again. One of his employees. I don't know if it's his employees. I'm just saying that in this industry, almost every industry where you have a predominance of men in power, and this is sad but true, when you have an industry that doesn't have diversity of both the sexes and of the ethnicities, you tend to have issues like this. Sadly, I wish it wasn't true, but what are you going to do? Trinell says, also, if we're going open world, Onimusha, but use Dragon's Dogma as a base. That'd be friggin' awesome. Actually, you know what would be cool? If they made a Dungeons and Dragons open world game with Dragon's Dogma as the base.
Oh, and there's this other news article I left over. Blizzard is now monitoring YouTube for toxic Overwatch players.
Really? Really, they made that game. They knew that game had people that were not happy with it, that were using it illegitimately, and they just whatever. I mean, I like Overwatch. It's a fun game, but damn. And Triple M says, don't forget the other side that uses the situation. The actual ones are being questioned. Triple M, you want an invite? Say so in the chat section. We'll send you one if you want in. But yeah.
Did you say anything about Overwatch?
No, that's it. He didn't say anything. I was just. But yeah, I think this is a serious topic, so I'll talk about it. Like I said, the games industry is like any other industry. You have people who have power and are using that power over other people. It's sad, but I mean, you know, it's some bullshit, but what are you going to do, you know?
Right. And I think that's about it for all the when it comes to the news I have.
Yeah. So as everyone knows, we're having a major holiday tomorrow for a lot of people here in America. It's called Super Bowl Sunday. So this is why we're having the BS Busters this today and not tomorrow, because I'm not going to try and compete against the Super Bowl because I'm going to be watching the damn thing. And I mean, you know, I'm a Super Bowl fanboy.
Wait, there's a new 3DS version of Minecraft.
I guess, man. I guess I don't really watch Minecraft.
All right.
I mean, I don't really play Minecraft. I mean, here's the thing. It's not that I have anything against Minecraft. For people who like Minecraft, God bless you. But I don't like games where I have to create my own content, because the way I feel about it is if I paid $30, $40, $50, $60 for this game and you're the developer, it's your damn job to entertain me, not my job to do your job and entertain me, you know?
But people find that as innovative.
Meh. I mean, I know some people really enjoy Minecraft. Like I said, it's not my job to, you know, like the only game, and I'm using game loosely, the only computer software that I've actually gone in and made my own content and enjoyed it was RPG Maker. But that's because I'm an RPG nerd and I like getting in the nitty gritty of making RPGs. Aside from that, I don't. It's like if I pay AAA prices for something, then it's not my job to also make the game. I mean, basically, that's how I feel when someone says, "Here's a game, but it has player-created content. Like you have to make your own thing." It's like, well, what the hell am I paying you for? That's like going to a nice restaurant and you pay them $50 a plate, and they're like, "Oh, wait, no, we're not going to cook the food. You come in the kitchen and you fix it." It's like, shit, I could have stayed home and done that shit.
Oh, and I almost forgot about mentioning Mitomo shutting down this May.
Yeah, but I mean, is anyone surprised? I mean, I don't use Mitomo anymore. I used it for a while and it was using way too much memory on my phone. And I was like, yeah, I gotta go. And I don't even play Dragon Final Fire Emblem Heroes anymore.
Because it was also using so much memory in your phone.
Well, it's a memory hog, and plus, it like if I want to play Fire Emblem, I want to play Fire Emblem and not Fire Emblem for Dummies, which is what it is. It's Fire Emblem for Dummies. You don't want to.
And there's this old Netherlands 1994 news about Nintendo steamrolling pirated software.
And it's Nintendo, man. Even back then, they getting your ass. No, I'm joking. It's the big end. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't mess around. Yeah, man. Nintendo don't play around. They ain't effing around with you people. They ain't bullshitting.
Of course, I also see it as a JoJo reference because Dio's steamroll ability that he uses in the series.
I mean, kind of, but Nintendo's been around before JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Let's get our sign-offs. I would say Jewel, but I think she fell asleep.
You accidentally muted her.
Well, no, she was falling asleep on us.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, yeah, you know. So I guess you can go, Pinky.
Yeah. So this is Piggy Don from Video Game Facts. So next week is a 1 week vacation from my work as an assistant tutor. So I'll be active in Video Game Facts as I used to be. Right now, I'm debating what kind of article I should write, whether it's like theme songs for either the Mario Kingdoms or the ARMS characters, or talk about fetish fuels and video games in general, or ideal guest characters as rare blades for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I currently haven't passed yet because I'm still busy completing some side quests before I can progress through chapter 8.
Okay. I'm sorry I yawned on you guys. It's been a very long day. I'll give Jewel sign off. This is Jewel Eli Moonrider. Jewel Eli Jewel Rider Moonstar. Sorry, I'm falling asleep on you guys. Your wild Pokemon duelist. Yeah, she likes Pokemon, and apparently she's a brony. No, I'm joking. She's a brony. I don't know if she's a brony. But she does know.
She's a Pegasus there.
She does know her Pokemon, so give her props. The lady knows her stuff. And this is me, Mr. Red Fox here, wishing you guys a happy weekend. And enjoy your Super Bowl. I'm gonna enjoy mine. I will be eating chicken wings, oven fried chicken wings, and barbecue ribs. It's gonna be delicious. And
I'm just gonna be watching it for the commercials.
Man, I'm watching it so I can see the I want to see the Patriots lose tomorrow because fuck Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the Patriots. And with that being said, good night, and we're signing off. And I repeat, fuck Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the Patriots. And orange juice. Good night.